let us take a look at the 10 new IB licenses. The first one with the Ferrari GTO 84, the legendary one, on Autodromo Nazionale Monza. It is the last turn of the track. And what is here actually, well, what worked perfectly for me is to brake exactly when the speed hits 250 km/h. I mean, in that very moment when it switches to the 50, that you brake, well, very hard, or just brake, you know. Well, look at it, 250 and directly on the brake, going down to second gear. You know, the car will slide a little bit, but you can catch it rather easily, then modulate the throttle a little, shift into third, accelerate then hard, up into fourth, and you're through with a 21.648, while a 22.220 was required. So this time was actually pretty good. I'm quite proud of it. And yeah, the car feels great through the corner as well. Slidey, of course. It's powerful, mid-engine rear wheel, a lot of power. Quite shitty, you know, comfort soft tires, but you know, it works. Okay, so the next video is with the Corvette ZR1 C4 from '89 on Willow Springs, the big Willow. The last turn again, just like in the Ferrari. The Ferrari, by the way, I uploaded hot laps on the Nordschleife and Tsukuba and GT Sport. So what is important here, you know, fourth gear definitely, brake then, go into third definitely before the actual, you know, last turn here. Take it tightly on the inside, so that you have more space on the outside while driving through it. And well, it's certainly a lot more difficult, I would say, than in the Ferrari, the last test, but still quite easily manageable to get gold in. Same tires as in the Ferrari, by the way. I mean, they are from the same era, sure. You see, stay more on the inside and go more to the inside and more until you are, well, completely on the inside at the turn, or in the turn at the apex, so that you have more room on the left side while driving through the corner. You need all the space. The Corvette did return from older GTs, and thus I tested it only in GT7, but I did test it both on the Nordschleife and Tsukuba as well. Really good car. Possibly quite underrated, as basically all Corvettes are. I actually think the Corvettes are the best American sports cars in general. Okay, the next test is with the Subaru Impreza 22B, the legendary one, on the new track, you know, like Louise, I don't know. On ice, I'm not a very big fan of. I mean, it's fun, you know, to hoon around the car around the track, but still not too fond of it. The 22B, by the way, in real life is so extremely overpriced. It's, I believe, at roughly $400,000 currently, so yeah. 35,624 is what I managed, while a 35,910 was required. Okay, so what do you need to do? Really late braking, going into fourth. If you want to, also into third, quite possible as well. And now here from the left to the right side, you can take it even more tightly, even more to the right side, so that you can take more, you know, more speed for this left-hander here, so that you have more speed here until the finish line. But yeah, it was enough in my case, barely, although around 3/10, so not that bad actually. The Corvette, by the way, the required time was 2190, and my time, well, I forgot. But I believe it was quite a bit better. I believe it was quite strong, just like in the Ferrari. So my line in IB2 was quite good. The Subaru here I did test on the Nordschleife and on Tsukuba in GT Sport, and the GT7 I only, if you want so, tested it on Tsukuba against the other Subarus. And as always, I will link the runs, the playlists in the description. Okay, so the next test is with the Honda NSX Type R 02, amazing car, on the, well, possibly most important Japanese track ever, Suzuka, next to Fuji, Motegi, and Tsukuba as very important tracks as well. Well, Autopolis seems to be gaining attention and popularity recently as well, which, well, is a good track, but I don't think it's as good as the other, as the aforementioned. Okay, what time are we reaching? A 29.554. While a 29.640 was required, so pretty close. It's definitely the hardest of the four yet we've seen. Try to imitate my, my speed through the corner, say my line, and the gear, of course. I admittedly was cutting the corners quite heavily over the curbs. You don't really need to do it. It might help, it can help, depends on your line and your speed. I would stay in third here. It's not worth it to go into fourth, I think. The NSX is actually, yeah, a return from older titles, and thus I hot-lapped it on the Nordschleife and Tsukuba in GT only, if you want, so only in GT7. And even have a Nordschleife comparison of it against the original NSX-R from '92, which is 10 years older than it. And, well, they're both amazing cars. Okay, IB5 on Watkins Glen with the LC500 Lexus from 2017. Quite an interesting combination, I think, which works quite well. You can take a lot of speed through these turns here, you can cut them heavily because of these huge huge curbs, which are wider than the car, and the car itself is quite wide already. As you have seen, I've cut them quite a bit. You can gain quite a bit of time by doing that. Here we're sliding a tad too bit, drifting around the curbs. You don't need to really do that. It's probably and possibly and probably quicker when you do not do that. So here the car gets a bit nervous. You have to do quite a bit of counter steering. 49.207 is what we did, while a 49.290 was required, so quite close again. Going down to fourth here. Using all the space again. Staying in fourth, although you could possibly go into third. Here's definitely a third gear turn. Again, you don't need to take it as tightly as I did. It'll upset the car quite a bit. And the lesser in a third gear as well. Oh yeah, the car is pretty tail happy, Even if it's very heavy, it's quite slidey. This car I did test in GT Sport on both the Nordschleife and Tsukuba. I also have a bit, no, not a bit, a lot of 1000 meters or 1 kilometer drag races videos of many cars. I believe of every car you will see in these 50 license tests, and the old ones. I've got a known playlist of that as well. I will link that also below down into the description. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out as well. Quite a beautiful car as well, I think. Not necessarily in this color and during the daytime. It has a lot better combinations, I think. Okay, so next up is Maggiore with the, in my opinion, absolutely phenomenal Cayman GT4, which in my opinion might be the best driving car of the entire game. Well, at least when it comes to street cars. Heavy cutting by me here again. Don't really need to do it. It depends on your angle. So going down here into third gear, definitely the right choice. Staying here into third, in the third as well, and then certainly soon here switching to fourth. Going down to third again. My lines were, they were decent. It wasn't a perfect run or anything, but apparently, well, surely it was enough. 44.235, while a 41.820 was required. So with a decent time. Okay, here fourth gear, quite a bit of cutting, quite a bit of counter steering, sliding at around 200 km/h. But this car feels amazing, man. I mean, it's so fun. It's a mixture of, engaging, slidey, drifty, fun, fast, not too fast, tail happy, not too tail happy, precise and slidey, and at the same time it's difficult to explain. It's just really thrilling, it just feels good. It feels really good. I made a mistake with the time, by the way. Of course, the required goal time was a 44.550. Sorry for that. And here you can see how much I was sliding for the turn, how much I was counter steering again. As this car is the first time in the GT series in GT7, I did test it both on the Nordschleife and Tsukuba in GT7. And well, of course, as with basically all cars, also did a 1 kilometer drag race against direct opponents, which is not uploaded yet, but will be rather soon. Or not released yet. It is already uploaded, but not released. So the next test is with the Maserati MC20 from 2020 on Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, on this long straight after the infamous Eau Rouge. Going down into third gear. You could possibly go into second as well. I don't know, I just stayed in third. I like rather taking often a higher gear as to avoid to change gears too often. Definitely not very clean through there. It was, well, if you want so, kinda fast. Definitely not very clean, and you could definitely be quicker through there. Third gear all the time, basically, except here where you need to change. 39.793 is what we achieved, while exactly a 40-second time was required. So from 5th to 3rd again down. You can take some of the curbs here, actually no problem. The car itself is very tail happy generally. It's a difficult car to drive. Actually, it's very difficult. I've driven a lot of cars in GT7 and all the cars in GT Sport. I hot lapped them actually all on the Nordschleife and most of them on Tsukuba, at least the street cars when it comes to Tsukuba. And yeah, the Maserati, I mean, it is very quick. It is very, very, very quick. Even in the turns, if you know how to handle it, but especially in a straight line. And I achieved a very good lap time with it. Like, I don't want to show off or anything, but in GT7 I did a really impressive time on the Nordschleife with it. And I will release it in January, I think. Yes, it should be in the first half of January. So you can check that out as well. As my PC is kind of lagging or whatever right now, I can't exactly say what the next test is running. But okay. It'll be the BMW M2 on the Suzuka circuit. In the wet, the M2 competition, the new one, also first time in the game. As you've seen, I just applied a tad too much throttle right at the beginning of the test. So you go into 4th for more grip. Now go down here to 3rd. You don't need to slide or to drift as much as I did. I just liked it. I have a wheel, I have a racing wheel, so you got a lot of feel in it, you know. Can play around with it a little. And then from 3rd gear, and actually staying in 3rd to maximize your, well, your speed and going through the finish line. So here again I applied a tad too much. Don't apply all that much at the beginning. A lot of counter steering will be necessary. So the car itself is generally quite difficult to drive. It is very, very tail happy and loose. Even more so than the Maserati, which is a lot stronger than the BMW. But here in the wet, without traction control on street tires, it's very, very slippery. So a 35.89 for my time, while a 39.10 was necessary. So, yeah, I was surprised myself that it was apparently quite a good time. But then again, not, you know, not a world record by any means, like far away from it. It was again my first gold run I did. I believe it was actually my very first try. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that this was one of the few tests that I golded the very first try. And then with such an, let's say, possibly above average time. So it was quite cool. The car, as I told, is the first time in the GT series, and I tested it on the Nordschleife and on Tsukuba and GT7. So the next test is with the amazing Porsche 959 from '87 on, again, Lake Louise. They are quite overusing this thing in the tests. And it's crazy just how much the car jumps in this test. You will see that even more so in the cockpit view. Well, a lot of sliding, drifting is required. I mean, it's rally on ice, or on snow in that case. A 24.337, what I managed. A 24.820 was required, so my time was decent. You know, look at how much it's jumping here. It's insane. Late braking going into 3rd or 2nd, you can possibly take this corner in the 3rd as well, but I think actually just like here that the 2nd is a tad bit better. It will give you a tad bit more grip and thus speed. And switching to 3rd here quickly, switching to 4th as well, full throttle, take it more on the inside across the line, and well, there we go, about half a second quicker than gold. And here you can again watch how much it was jumping. Quite unrealistic, probably. I don't know if the suspension would survive in real life. Probably not. But fun nonetheless. So yeah, the car, the first time in the GT series, I've been waiting very much for this car. Have been looking very much forward to this car. And have hot lapped it on the Nordschleife and Tsukuba. And I must say I was quite surprised just how slidey that car is. It's very, very slidey all around, although it is all-wheel drive. Okay, so the last test is the LFA from 2010 on Fuji. All of us GT players have been waiting for a long time for this car to return, because it also sounds so amazing, V10, right? And finally it is here, and I couldn't be happier. And actually I've for now, today is the 7th of November. I have only driven it in this very test. I didn't have any time yet to test it elsewhere, but of course I will test it against a fitting rival on Tsukuba in GT7, and right after it I will give it all. I will give my very best to try to extract everything from this car on the legendary Green Hell. Let's see what it can do. I think its direct rival would be something like the Nissan GT-R and the Ferrari F30, something like that. And I love the sound the dashboard makes, the digital, when it's switching to green, orange and red, as you can hear when it's revving. So going down here to second gear, definitely one would be tad too low, I think. Third, definitely tad too high. And then quickly here switching to third. Always trying to hit the apexes of the corners, very important, just as here. FR layout, a lot of power. Obviously it will be quite oversteery, but in a very pleasant way, a lot more pleasant than the Maserati or BMW M2. Then again here, right on the apex, taking all the speed you can, take as much speed as you can on the straight. Will give you a lot of time, will save you a lot of time. A 53.254 is what I managed, while a 53.840 was required. I very much like how this car looks as well. I think they've chosen basically the worst color you can choose for this car. I mean, it has so many colors to choose. Paint jobs, not liveries, paint, you know what I mean. Body, what do you call it in English? Body, you know what I mean, body colors. I've actually bought it in gold. I never had it in gold in these games, so I thought for a change I could take, a different color. It does look spectacular in white and black, I think. As always, I hope you enjoyed and liked it, and if you did, consider leaving a like and a sub, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.